saying don't fall in love with your own idea. So that's the topic that I'm going to talk about today with regard to my professions. But then, of course, I suppose we all love that Buddha was born in Nepal, right? And aren't we so proud to be born in the country where Buddha was also born, isn't it? But having said that, like, have we ever deep dived into the teachings of Buddha as a Nepali people? The Four Noble Truths, which is very practical and simple, and how it can correlate to what we do as professions. And also I see a lot of students here, therefore, what we do as a student. Let me kind of elaborate on the Four Noble Truths, and then we will go to further on in terms of how it could relate to our life or professions. The Four Noble Truths of Buddha talks central around a theme of suffering. Therefore, the first truth of Buddha is, he says, the truth of suffering. As you are born in this country, as you are born in this world, you are going to have some kind of suffering. And that is the truth. The second truth is the truth of cause of suffering. As we are born, there would be some kind of suffering in our life, and there is a cause to that. And it's not just because you are getting old or there is some kind of illness. It could be because of some of the decisions that we would make in our journey as a students or also as a professionals, which could be disappointing at times. And because of that, as well, we suffer. Similarly, the thought is there is the end to the suffering if we have certain mindset. And the fourth is the truth of the path that leads to the end of suffering, where he talks about eightfold paths. But I'm not going to deep dive to eightfold paths because I leave that to the religious leaders. I'm here more from a context of speaking from my experience and my profession. Therefore, coming back to the professional life that I have, as we all know, there are a lot of decisions that we take in the professional life, and basis that there are a lot of setbacks that we will face. Like this morning, while I was coming from my home to be here with you all today morning, I live in Jaulak Hill, and I had to come via Thapthali Bridge to be here. So in fact, when I was coming here, my brother told me that there might be some disturbance at Singadarbar. But of course, like once I reached in Thapthali Bridge, there was two options for me, either to come via Maitigar and Singadarbar here, which is the shorter route, or go via Tripeswar all the way and come here. Like any sensible person, I thought that this is the shortest route, and I didn't see much of a problem. Therefore, I decided to come via Maitigar through Singadarbar here. I almost thought that I'm going to get late because there was some event going on because of Prithvi Jayanti, right? And that was the decision I took, and I was stuck in traffic for almost 15 minutes because of some event that was happening there, And because of that decision, somehow at some point of time, I felt that that was the wrong decisions, and I didn't have a chance to, go back as well. And I thought that maybe I would not reach on time. And in that sense, it was somehow disappointing for me. But similarly, in professional life also, we take certain decisions based on the information that we have, and because of that, we get into some kind of, disappointments. But we can learn from those disappointments in terms of, taking suggestions like the one that was given by my brother. I didn't took that suggestion, and I had to suffer, at least to be in my car for certain longer hours. Therefore, now coming back to my profession, I'm in the business of advertising. Business of advertising is all about business of ideas. People come to us for ideas. And then because of also my company's track record of doing some successful campaigns, people trust us, and they feel that we produce some of the great ideas. And there is a process that we follow when we are working on those ideas. For example, generally the process starts with looking at the consumer behaviors or understanding the consumer insight. And basis that consumer insights, we come up with some thinking. And then we brainstorm within our team to come up with some kind of creative roots which can be presented to the client. In my journey of almost 23 years, I must have been part of around 200 such campaigns. And let me also tell you that not all of them were successful. Some were very successful, some were averagely successful, some were, like they fail as well, like at different stages. But having said that, there is a movement of idea, the process that we follow when we go to pitch for that idea, the idea that we have brainstormed within the company to the client. Therefore, we see the three stages of that moment of idea. The first is when we are brainstorming within our team. When we are brainstorming within our team, generally there's a brief that comes from the client. The brief could be one-liner, or the brief could be extended documents. Basis that brief, we think of a potential idea. But when we are thinking of a potential idea, we have to also have some kind of implied consumer in mind. When we say implied consumer, it is, for our layman language, we can say that it's a primary target audience for that campaign. Basis that primary target audience of the campaign, we come up with different options of idea and brainstorm within the team structures that we have within the company, which could be people from creative team, people from planning team, people from strategy team, from media, from digital, from tech. And then once we are kind of confident that this idea is going to work, then we actually go to present that idea to our sponsor consumer. When we say sponsor consumers, they are generally clients. In our case, if it is a large company, they could be a brand managers or CMO or marketing team. If it is small and medium enterprises, it could even be owners of that companies. Once we are able to rationalize our thinking and sell that ideas to the sponsor consumer only, this idea will see the light of the day. And it could go in the format of TV commercials, YouTube videos, social media posts, or some kind of app as well. But if we are not able to convince them, it will never see a light of the day. Therefore, it depends upon how you are able to convince the sponsor consumers. Once you are convinced, then once you are able to convince the sponsor consumer, it will then actually go to the actual consumer in the actual marketplace, like in the format of TV releases or YouTube, and then we start getting reactions. The reaction could be positive, negative, or neutral, and basis that, there is a mid-course corrections that we might have to do. But then we have to understand that the sponsor consumers, particularly in this case, the advertiser or a client, they also have subjective biasness with them. When they say subjective biasness, not always they are wrong. They could be right as well, because they know their business more than us. They know the competitor more than us. They understand the challenges more than us. With that regard, sometimes when we are working in a creative team, we feel that we have the best idea, but when we go to the client or a sponsor consumers, they might not feel so, and they might have a lot of inputs to be given. Similarly, there could be certain cases with the sponsor consumers where they feel that they might just have some kind of subjective biasness because of their past experiences, and they might just reject that idea altogether. And of course, when they reject those ideas, we get disappointed because the team has worked hundreds of man-hours producing this thinking. But then this idea is now not going to the actual market, and that could be disappointing. The reason of these disappointment is because, like when the team goes to present to the sponsor consumers, a lot of time they go with a biased approach. Also within my team, thinking that the idea that we have is the best idea. And they are very close-minded. They are not willing to listen to what the client has to say or what the sponsor consumer has to say. But then if you change the context and if the team becomes open-minded to listen to the inputs that is being given to them by the sponsor consumers, a lot of time it might actually help to make that idea better. And there might be the chances of more success when it actually go to the marketplace or to the consumers. In fact, if certain idea which is not that good enough goes to the market, and if it fails in the market level, it might be more costly for both the agency team and also the client team. Therefore, what I feel is in this business of idea, we should not fall in love with our own idea. Because once you fall in love with our own idea, which happens quite often, particularly with the creative people, that's a trap. As soon as you fall in love with your own idea, we become closed-minded. It is very, very important that we are open-minded to take the inputs, basis which we can fine-tune the work that we are doing. And because it's been fine-tuned, the probability of winning this in the market is higher. Now, again, coming back to my own context, like today morning, while I was looking at mirror myself, wearing this jacket, I thought that I'm the most good-looking guy, to be here. But that might not be true when you guys are looking at me. Some might be thinking that, yes, he's smartly dressed. Some might be thinking that this is not the way he should be dressing to come to TEDx, right? Therefore, the business of idea is not mathematics, where 2 plus 2 is not equivalent to 4. It could be either 22 or it could be 0, depending upon your open-mindedness. Therefore, like the Buddha said in the beginning also, I try to speak about that. I think it is very important that we should not fall in love with our own idea, and we should be very open-minded to listen to the consumer insights, to listen to our sponsor consumers, because they also have a lot of inputs from their own business challenges. They know their business more. And also even to listen to the actual customers or consumers when it goes to a marketplace, and if there is a requirement for doing a mid-course correction, we should do it. Thank you very much.